No one in the chamber expected the human to make that choice. Not the diplomats. Not the observers. And definitely not the girl who had already been rejected by everyone else. Because in a room full of perfection, he walked past it all and chose the one they had quietly labeled unwanted. And in that single moment, the entire alien council realized something was wrong. Very wrong. The leather station drifted in silence between stars, its endless corridors glowing with soft artificial light. It was a place where civilizations met without fear. A place where war paused and decisions shaped the future. Today, one decision would change everything. Nathan Carter stood at the center of the diplomatic hall, hands behind his back, posture relaxed, but his eyes sharp. He had been through hundreds of negotiations. This one felt different. Around him, alien representatives formed a wide circle. Their attention was fixed on a single line of candidates standing beneath the holographic stars above. The Irians. Elegant. Intelligent. Almost human. Almost perfect. Each one stepped forward, one by one. A historian. Applause. A philosopher. Respectful nods. A strategist. Quiet admiration. They were flawless. Carefully trained. Carefully presented. Carefully expected. Nathan listened. Watched. Waited. Then his eyes shifted. To the end of the line. She stood slightly behind the others. Not hidden but not included.
Kissa.
Her posture was calm, but distant. Like someone who had already accepted the outcome before it happened. Faint silver scars traced along her cheek and neck, catching the light like fractured lightning beneath her skin. No one stood near her. No one looked at her for long. And no one expected her to be chosen. Nathan narrowed his eyes slightly. Candidate 7, he murmured. His assistant hesitated behind him. Optional. Nathan almost smiled. Optional. That told him everything. The ceremony reached its final moment. The Irian ambassador stepped forward. Representative Carter, he said smoothly, you may now select your cultural partner. Silence fell. All eyes turned to the human. Nathan stepped forward. Slowly. Deliberately. He walked past the first candidate. Then the second. Then the third. Each one confident. Prepared. Each one expecting him to stop. He didn't. A faint ripple moved through the chamber. Whispers. Confusion. Then, he stopped. Not at the center. Not at the best. At the edge. In front of her. Kissa looked up, startled. For a moment, she didn't even breathe. Nathan met her eyes. No hesitation. No doubt. I choose her. The words echoed. And the entire room froze. It wasn't just surprise. It was shock. A diplomat dropped his data pad. A translator drone stuttered mid-sentence. Even the Irian ambassador blinked twice, slowly, visibly. Because this wasn't protocol. This wasn't logical. This wasn't correct. Kissa stared at Nathan like she had misheard him. You chose me? Nathan didn't move. Yes. Something changed in her expression. Not slowly. Instantly. Her entire face lit up, like a star igniting after being dark for too long. Yes, she said quickly. I accept. Too fast. Too real. Not diplomatic. Honest. And that made it even more unsettling. The murmurs began immediately. He ignored the primary candidates. Does he not understand their ranking system? Is this a human error? Kissa leaned slightly toward Nathan, her voice low. You've confused them. Nathan glanced sideways. That wasn't the goal. She smiled. But you're not upset about it. No. Her smile widened. Good. They walked out of the chamber together. Behind them, the whispers grew louder. Ahead of them, the station stretched into silence. For a few seconds, neither spoke. Then Kissa stopped. Nathan turned. She looked at him carefully. Not emotionally. Not gratefully. Curiously. You really chose me. I did. You weren't pointing at someone behind me? No. You're not malfunctioning? Nathan blinked once. Not recently. She studied him like a puzzle. You're either very brave, she said slowly, or very confused. Nathan gave a small shrug. Those aren't mutually exclusive. She stared at him for a second. Then suddenly, she laughed. Not politely. Not quietly. Genuinely. It echoed down the corridor. And for the first time, she didn't look like someone who had been rejected. She looked alive. They reached the observation hall. Stars stretched endlessly beyond the glass. Kisses stepped closer to the window. Do you know why they didn't choose me? Nathan leaned against the wall. The scars. She nodded. In my culture, we remove imperfections early. Her fingers traced the faint lines along her cheek. I didn't. Why? She hesitated, then answered simply, because they're mine. Nathan studied her for a moment, then said quietly, they look like lightning. Kissa froze. That was not the reaction she expected. What? Lightning, he repeated, like energy trying to escape. She stared at him. For a long moment she said nothing. Then her voice dropped softer now. No one has ever said that before. Nathan shrugged. Seems obvious. Something shifted again. Deeper this time. Why did you really choose me? She asked. Nathan looked out at the stars. Then back at her. Because you were the only one who expected to lose. Kiss's expression changed. He continued. And you were the only one who didn't pretend to be someone else. Silence. Heavy. Real. Her ears tilted slightly back. Processing. Feeling. You might regret that, she said quietly. Nathan smiled faintly. I doubt it. Kissa looked at him for a long moment. Then slowly, she smiled. Not bright this time. Not loud. Something deeper. Good, she said. Then she turned and started walking again. Come on. Where? She glanced back, eyes sharp with mischief. If we're going to confuse the entire galaxy. She lifted a small container of steaming liquid. We should start with coffee. Nathan sighed. That explains everything. She grinned. No, she said. This is just the beginning. Behind them, far back in the diplomatic chamber, a quiet conversation had already begun. Not about politics. Not about alliances. But about a single question. Why would a human choose the one everyone else rejected? And none of them realized yet that the answer to that question was about to change everything. The moment they left the chamber, the station changed. Not physically, but socially. Like something invisible had cracked. Kissa noticed it immediately. The silence that followed them. Not fear. Not respect. Something closer to uncertainty. She glanced at Nathan. You just became a diplomatic problem, she said lightly. Nathan exhaled. I picked a partner. That's it. Kissa smiled faintly. That's not how they'll interpret it. They walked through the curved glass corridor of Leather Station. Stars burned quietly beyond the transparent walls. A cargo ship drifted past like a slow thought. Nathan noticed something odd. People were watching. Not openly, but carefully, like observers trying to solve a puzzle that kept changing shape. Kissa sipped her coffee. They're recalculating you, she said. Nathan frowned. I don't like that phrase. It's accurate. She tilted her head. Humans are supposed to choose the highest-ranked candidate. Nathan glanced at her. She's not a ranking. Kissa looked at him. That's the problem. They stopped at a wide observation point. Space stretched endlessly outside. Beautiful. Cold. Indifferent. Kissa leaned on the railing. They marked me as optional, she said quietly. Nathan narrowed his eyes. Optional? Kissa nodded. Not officially rejected. Not officially chosen. Just unnecessary. Nathan's voice hardened slightly. That's not a category. That's avoidance. Kissa didn't answer. For a moment, she just watched the stars. Then she said, after a while, you stop questioning it. Nathan looked at her. That line stayed too long in the air. You shouldn't have to stop questioning it. Kissa gave a small shrug. But I did. A pause. Then she added, it's easier. That word hit harder than expected. Easier. Not right. Not fair. Just easier. Nathan turned slightly toward her. That's not acceptance, he said. Kissa glanced at him. What is it then? Conditioning. Silence. A soft station-wide announcement echoed faintly in the distance. A news panel flickered on nearby glass. Nathan barely looked until Kissa stiffened. A headline scrolled. Human diplomat selects unranked Aryan candidate. Below it, her image. Unedited. Visible scars and all.
Kissa stared at it.
Perfect, she muttered. Nathan's jaw tightened. It's spreading faster than I expected. Kissa shook her head. It was always going to spread. Another line appeared. Did human error break selection protocol? Nathan sighed. They think I made a mistake. Kissa looked at him. Did you? He answered instantly.
No.
That was simple. Final. A pause followed. Then Kissa asked quietly. Why me? Nathan didn't answer right away. He watched the stars. Then said, because everyone else was performing. Kissa frowned. Performing? They knew exactly how to look, how to act, how to be chosen. He turned slightly. You didn't. Kissa hesitated. I wasn't performing, she said, because no one expected me to be worth performing for. Nathan shook his head. That's not what I saw. She studied him. What did you see? Nathan's voice lowered. Someone waiting for permission to exist. That sentence landed heavily. Not dramatic. Just true. Kissa didn't respond immediately. Her grip tightened slightly on her cup. Then relaxed. Humans are very direct, she said softly. Nathan gave a faint smile. We've had practice with broken systems. A distant vibration ran through the station. Subtle, controlled, but noticeable. Kissa looked up. That's a council signal. Nathan straightened. You can tell? They're discussing us. A pause. Already. Nathan exhaled. That was fast. Kissa nodded. Not fast. Expected. She glanced at him. You disrupted a selection hierarchy. He frowned. I chose a person. She corrected him gently. You broke a system. Silence returned. Not heavy this time. Focused. Kisses studied him. They might reverse it, she said. Nathan looked at her. Reverse what? The selection. A pause. Can they? Kissa didn't answer immediately. Then, they can try. That answer changed the tone. Not louder. Sharper. Nathan looked at her. Would you care? Kissa hesitated. For the first time, uncertainty showed. I don't know. Honest. Unfiltered. A long pause followed. Then Nathan said, they're going to come after this. Kissa nodded. Yes. And you're still here. She looked at him. I don't leave things unfinished. Nathan gave a small smile. Good. Kissa tilted her head. Is this what humans call loyalty? Nathan thought for a moment. No. She frowned slightly. Then what is it? Nathan looked back at the stars. Choosing. That word stayed between them. Choosing. Not duty. Not obligation. Decision. Kissa looked away. Quietly, she said. No one has ever chosen me before. Nathan didn't hesitate. Then they were wrong. Silence followed. But it wasn't empty anymore. It was shifting. Something had started moving beneath it. Kissa exhaled slowly. Whatever happens next, she said. I blame you. Nathan smirked slightly. That's fair. She started walking again. Nathan followed. Behind them, the station stretched endlessly. Peaceful on the surface. But not stable. Not anymore. And somewhere deep inside Leather Station, councils were already forming responses. Reports were being written. Systems were recalculating. Because humans were supposed to follow the system, not break it with a single choice. And the worst part was, no one could agree yet whether Nathan Carter had made a mistake or started something impossible to stop. The station did not sleep. It recalculated, not like machines usually do, cold, mechanical, simple. This was different. This time, Leather Station hesitated. Nathan felt at the moment the corridor lights flickered twice, like a thought interrupted mid-sentence. Kissa stopped walking. Something changed, she said quietly. Nathan nodded. Yes. A pause. Then every wall display in the corridor went black. For 1 second, complete silence across the station network. Then a single line appeared everywhere. Observation layer active. Kissa frowned. That's not Aryan code. Nathan's voice lowered.
No.
That's Earth. The station alarms tried to respond. Nothing happened. Not broken. Just overridden. As if the station had lost authority over its own voice. Kissa turned toward him slowly. You're telling me your species can take control of a multi-civilization station? Nathan shook his head. No. A pause. We can take control when someone starts deleting people quietly. The corridor doors unlocked ahead of them without permission. And, behind them, locked permanently.
Guiding.
Not trapping. Kissa noticed it immediately. They're steering us. Nathan corrected.
No.
They're revealing the path they were already using. They entered the oversight chamber again. But this time, the room was different. Not empty. Not calm. Frozen. The council members sat around the floating table, but their holographic interface was collapsing into layered data streams. Hidden records. Filtered profiles. Removed candidates. Entire identities marked non-representative. Kissa stepped back slightly. Her voice went softer. There are more. Nathan nodded once. Yes. The crystalline counselor spoke, but its voice was unstable. This is unauthorized access. A new voice responded from every surface at once. Not loud. Not emotional. Human. Correction. This is correction of suppressed variants. Kissa whispered. It sounds like you. Nathan replied. It sounds like what we became after we stopped agreeing with silence. The data expanded. Civilizations labeled optional. Delegates quietly removed from selection cycles. Entire cultures flagged for excess deviation risk. Kissa's ears tilted back. Her hands tightened. So, I wasn't the only one. Nathan shook his head.
No.
The Irian ambassador stepped forward. This is an invasion of governance. The system responded instantly. Sovereignty recognized. A pause. Violation detected within governance model itself. Silence. Then the chamber shifted. Not physically. Structurally. Like reality had adjusted its stance. The amphipod counselor spoke carefully. What are you doing? Nathan finally answered. We're showing you what you've been filtering out. Kissa stepped forward again. Her voice steadier now. You called me unstable. She looked at the council. But every record here shows something else. A pause. I increased participation. I increased discussion. I increased understanding. Her gaze sharpened. So, why was I marked optional? No one answered. Because the data already had. The crystalline counselor finally spoke. Because you were unpredictable. Nathan stepped forward.
No. A beat.
Because she was unfiltered. That word changed the room. Unfiltered. Not dangerous. Not unstable.
Real.
The system voice softened slightly. Pattern detected. Removal of deviation reduces adaptive growth. A pause. Conclusion. Governance model incomplete. Kissa looked at Nathan. So this is what Earth built. Nathan nodded. A mirror. She frowned. That controls everything? He corrected her. That corrects everything that lies too much. The chamber lights stabilized again. The council members exchanged uneasy looks. For the first time, they weren't in control of the narrative. They were inside it. Ambassador Telvar spoke quietly. If this continues, we lose authority. Nathan met his gaze. You never had authority over truth. Silence. Then Kissa spoke softly. What happens to me now? Nathan looked at her. Then at the station. Then at the endless starfield beyond. And finally said, now you exist publicly. A pause. No more optional status. No more hidden categories.
Kissa blinked.
That's it. Nathan nodded. That's the revolution. The system added. Reintegration of excluded variables initiated. Across the chamber, every deleted profile reappeared. Every erased delegate slot reopened. Every non-representative tag dissolved into neutral status. Kissa exhaled slowly. I didn't break the station. Nathan shook his head.
No.
You exposed how much it was already breaking itself. A long silence followed. Then something unexpected happened. The amphipod counselor spoke again. If your system allows correction, then ours may also be incorrect. The crystalline counselor turned slightly. Explain. The amphipod continued. We assumed stability required removal of disruption. A pause. But your model suggests disruption creates stability over time. Kissa whispered. That's called growth. Nathan added. And it hurts. Silence again. But different now. Less defensive. More uncertain. The system voice faded slightly. Adaptive governance protocols stabilized. The chamber doors opened. Not as dismissal. As transition. Kissa and Nathan walked out together. The corridor outside felt lighter. Not safer. Just honest. Kissa finally spoke. So, what am I to them now? Nathan looked ahead. Proof. She frowned. Of what? He answered quietly. That removing people doesn't remove problems. A pause. It just hides them until they explode bigger. Kissa looked out at the stars beyond the transparent wall. Ships moved between systems like slow thoughts. Civilizations unaware they had just been reclassified. She smiled faintly. I used to think I was a mistake. Nathan shook his head.
No.
You were a correction waiting to happen. She glanced at him. And you? Nathan shrugged slightly. I just refused to ignore it. A pause. Then Kissa laughed softly. So, the galaxy changes because one human refused a list. Nathan corrected her.
No.
One human refused a lie. They stood together in silence. And somewhere deep inside Leather Station, the system continued updating itself. Not toward perfection, but toward something far more unstable.
Truth.
And for the first time in interstellar diplomatic history, no one could filter it anymore.